think you guys are growing every week. There's more and more of you every week. Man, are you guys bringing your friends? You're like, bring the neighborhood? Awesome. Hey, I want you to know sometimes when you get to preach, sometimes you lay at night, awake at night, and you wake up thinking about your sermon, you can't sleep. Last night, I woke up several times so excited about getting to spend some more time with you guys and thinking about our time together this morning. So we've been talking about Advent. We've been talking about waiting, right? You remember last week we talked about waiting. Can anybody help me remember the candles that we've already talked about? What was the first one? Peace. Very good. Very good. Awesome. Okay, what was the second one? Hope. Hope. Anybody know what we're going to talk about today? Love. Awesome. Very good. All right. On the TV, hey, that's smart. I need to think about asking the question a little sooner before it gets up there. So we've been talking about waiting and Advent, and today we're going to talk a little bit about love. Does anybody remember their blue ticket from last week? Anybody? Does anybody have it that you can show me? Anybody? Oh, there's one. Anybody? There's a couple. Yeah, Mason, you gave me yours. I'm sure that your dad made this, right? Did your dad make that? Yeah, your dad's really creative. It says one blue ticket. So, it'll work. It'll work. It's awesome. So, we talked, okay, you can keep it. You can keep it. Have it. We talked about waiting. I want to tell you last night. So we talked about sometimes when it's easy to wait, sometimes when it's hard to wait. Do you guys remember that? Last night, you know what happened at my house? The electricity went out at my house last night. Yeah, it was. So all night long, you know what we did? We waited for the electricity to come on, and it made me think about you guys and how we've been talking about waiting. I want to share a story with you from the Old Testament. There's this story about this guy named Jacob, and he meets this young lady named Rachel, and they met in a pretty peculiar way. It was very romantic. They were both out tending their sheep and bringing their sheep to the water. Does that sound very romantic? No? Well, it was to them. I mean, Jacob, he saw Rachel, and he was immediately, he was just struck by her. And so he decided that he wanted to marry her. And so he asked her dad if he can marry her. And you know what her dad said? Her dad said he had to work for him for 7 years. I think that's a great plan. I think that is a great plan. And so he worked for 7 years to let her dad marry Rachel. And then, you know what happened after that? Hey guys, sit down. There you go. You know what happened after that? The dad tricked him and wouldn't let him marry her until he had to work another 7 years. But you know what he said? I want to read this verse to you. This is what Jacob said about Rachel after the first 7 years. It says, so Jacob worked 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. And you think about Jacob and all that time that he was working and he was waiting, right? He was waiting to be able to marry his love. And he did it because he loved her. And it seemed like it was just a real short time because he really loved her. You know, we're thinking about us waiting for the second coming of Christ. And certainly when Jesus came the first time, the ultimate example of love. And Pastor Jamie's going to talk about the shepherds today. He's going to talk about the story of the shepherds. And you can imagine how long they had been waiting and their family had been waiting for Jesus to come. And then Jesus comes, who is the perfect example of love. And he lives on this earth. And I was just thinking about love and how waiting and love. And there's this old song for people like me, this old Christian song called Love is a Verb. You ever heard the song Love is a Verb? Probably not. So So I think sometimes we like to use the word love as a noun, like I'm in love and that's great, but really love is action. If you really love something, you're gonna be acting. You're gonna act on that. Like love is patient, love is kind, right? So all of those things, and love is really an action. What we see is Jesus coming to the earth to be the ultimate example of love for us. But now here we are waiting. Everybody's still waiting on Christmas presents. Anybody got to open Christmas presents yet? You got to open Christmas presents yet? Awesome. Does your mom know? Well, we told you guys that we're working on our waiting, and some of you brought your blue tickets or something similar to your blue ticket. And if you didn't, that's okay if you didn't. But what we're wanting to for you guys to remember is this idea, I see that blue ticket, is this idea of waiting. But while we're waiting, you know what we can do? Everybody listen, look up here. What can we do while we're waiting for Jesus to come back? Get ready. What else can we do? Get ready too. What else can we do while we wait? We can pray. We can talk about Jesus. Yeah. You know what we need to do while we're waiting is just like Jacob. We need to work and we need to love people. We need to love the people around us and share the gospel with the people around us. We have so many opportunities because of the example that Jesus set by coming and being the presence of love. That's what we're going to talk about today, the presence of love. Jesus coming and being the ultimate example of love. Okay, well, I told you guys we're working on your waiting this week, and so I hope that you had your ticket and you were thinking about and waiting on the present that you're going to get this morning. Everybody excited about the present you're going to get this morning? Okay, I am too. Okay, before I give you the present, we're going to end. I'm going to give you this present. I want to let you know next week you're going to get another gift that's going to be really, really fun. Okay, so you have to make sure you're here next week. Okay, tell mom and dad no sleeping in next week. Okay, you got to be here and you got to come and be. It's going to be so much fun next week. I can't wait for you guys to be here.